Welcome to Beating Cancer Daily. Beating stage 4 cancer for 30 years still takes my breath away every time I say it. I'm Saranne, founder of the Comedy Cures Foundation, and I hope you'll join me for just a few minutes daily for the next 365 days so we may laugh, learn, maybe cry a little as we live our best days beating cancer daily together. I read a study that said that teachers who teach optimism in the classroom, their students do much better on testing. Teaching optimism. Did anybody ever teach you optimism? Weren't you just taught that, hey, you're born like that? You either see the glass half full or you see the glass half empty. We can actually teach optimism. So why wouldn't we teach optimism when somebody's challenged with something like cancer? I am a stage 4 cancer survivor, but I had terrible news coming at me all the time. Terrible, terrible news. It's a miracle that I survived stage 4 cancer based on all the failures and bad news that I got repeatedly. Why do I think I survived? Partly because I'm a magical thinker. I am an eternal optimist. I don't think that's the only way you beat cancer, but I think it gave me a fighting chance because my mindset was so strong. And I did a whole study on the mindset of cancer and that it could be taught. But why don't we teach it? I don't understand that. So I thought, you know what? I want to do this. I want to share an episode about optimism because we might not all be on the same page about it. And you know what triggered it really? I bought a sweatshirt because I was cold on a family vacation and they only had 2 sweatshirts and the one in my size, I kid you not, on the back it says Eternal Optimist. How could I not buy that? I really am that. I've said this many times. My husband says, I see unicorns floating around in fairies, that I am truly a magical thinker, but I'm also a manifester. And I do that thing that people talk about in law of attraction. I really do see into being. And I'm not going to get off on that tangent because I really want to talk about optimism and pessimism. And I think it's funny because any kind of extreme is funny. And I'm going to give you so many comedy references about it because comedians love to dig into this topic. So many comedians are so pessimistic and they make fun of people like me who are optimistic. Now, I think everything's fluid and we can change. But if you had to go on one side of that, think about it for a second. Would you call yourself more of an optimist or more of a pessimist? Come on, be honest. All right. Well, I wanted to read this to you quickly. It said, what is an optimist? What is a pessimist? Here's a theory. A pessimist believes that things will always get worse and never better. Optimists are people who believe that everything will be all right in the end. They believe that there's always hope for the future, even if things are not going well in the present. Which one describes you? I definitely tend towards the second one. Okay. Now, here's one more thing I wanted to share with you. Optimistic thinkers tend to credit themselves when things go right and external factors when things go wrong. Whereas pessimistic thinkers believe that they are responsible for their own failures. And when something good happens, it is due to luck or some external cause. Now, these are extremes. I don't know how many people are this extreme. Yeah, I don't think external factors are responsible. I think I'm responsible. So I think that's a little flawed in how it's presenting it. But the thing that excites me is, can we learn optimism? If you weren't born or you didn't grow up in a family where you had that optimism, can we learn it now? And I saw an article that I thought was pretty terrific, and it came from a magazine called Capital Region Living, and it was written by Diane Likes. And she basically looked at the evidence and then put it into six simple traits that we could focus on. And I thought, whoa, I don't have to reinvent this. I'm going to add some to it. But let's just review a little bit and see if we can start to adopt this. Before I get to the traits and tips that this author, Diane Likes, talks about, I want to just talk about a few of my own. And I've done episodes in Beating Cancer Daily about this. The quickest way to get positive is to surround yourself with positive people. If you are just completely surrounded by energy vampires, then you need to cut them off right now and surround yourself with people that will uplift, that have positive outlook. It's contagious. And so if you want to learn how to get rid of energy vampires, I do several episodes on how to do that. But the company you keep, who's in front of you as your teacher, this is one of the fastest ways to increase your optimism and your happiness. The second way, I bet you expect, it's listen to comedy, and not really twisted comedy that's very depressing. Find likable comics and listen to likable comedy that's really putting a humorous spin on everyday life challenges. And do that once or twice a day. Make an appointment to laugh with yourself and listen to comedy. And again, I have so many episodes of Beating Cancer Daily where I teach how to incorporate this into the fabric of your day and the fabric of your life. Just doing those two things, I bet, will greatly increase your optimism. The next thing I want you to do is to get more sleep. I did an episode on napping, and there's a statistic that says by just napping, you can increase your happiness up to 11%. That's amazing. And that goes along with optimism. If you're exhausted or starving, it's really easy to be in a bad mood and not to think positively. So those are just some of the things that I really want you to focus on. And now I want to dive into this article. This article comes from Capital Living, and it's an expert wellness on the six traits of eternal optimism. Now, it's an old article, but I just loved the suggestions. So I want to share them with you. She says optimists think differently. Well, how do you think differently? You have to be aware of how you think. And I am very aware of how I think. Metacognition is really important. Understanding how you think about how you think. It can really keep you on the right path to having the best life possible. If you're just reacting to everything and you're not realizing your part in it, it can bring you down and you can make the same mistakes over and over again. But thinking about how you think can really help impact your mood. So she says that optimists don't keep replaying negative tapes in their head. They don't keep beating themselves up about choices they made or about old conflicts that they didn't resolve. And they don't sit and worry about the future. So, where are you in that? Are you worrying? Are you playing old tapes? Are you thinking about things that might go wrong in the future? She gives an example that therapists will give you a rubber band to put on one hand. And if you think a negative thought, pop it. I think that can be annoying and cause like a burn on your wrist. I say switch it to the other hand. And even if you wear the Comedy Cures Live, Love, Laugh bracelet or a Live Strong bracelet, any of those bands, if you catch yourself spiraling into negative thoughts, switch the bracelet and switch it every time. Or you can do the popping of the rubber band if you like that idea. We all know ad nauseum this idea of gratitude. And I did an episode on it that it can be so annoying when people tell you to be grateful for everything. But gratitude can go a long way in optimism because it's really the secret to appreciation. Now, I'm not going to go deep into this. We know, make a list of the things you're grateful for, start a gratitude journal so that you can really keep reinforcing what you're grateful for. This one, I think, is a little hard in the beginning, but you'll get used to it. You'll build a gratitude practice. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on it. I think finding the silver lining is really important. And that's what eternal optimists do. We always try to look for the silver lining. And I know that it's hard because it's really easy to focus on the bad. But even now, sitting down and thinking of something that was really hard or painful, can you look back on it and can you see the silver lining today? Again, you don't have to achieve all this in one day. These are just habits that people who are very optimistic seem to do. I love this one. Eleanor Roosevelt said, do one thing every day that scares you. And the point is that optimists seem to live life very courageously. And you don't have to do things that are dangerous. I'm not saying that, but just take you out of your comfort zone. That's another trait of very optimistic people. And I would definitely say that I live a very courageous life, even a fearless life. Even sometimes I've reported on this podcast that I've gotten myself into trouble because I'm so fearless. And then it's like, whoa, there's a difference between being unsafe and being fearless. So I put myself in situations that could be unsafe. I'm not saying do that. I'm just saying living with courage. Do you practice compassion and forgiveness? Easier said than done. But can you look at a situation and have compassion for another person and or forgive another person? And look, it's human nature to hold on to resentment for sure. But the key to forgiveness is being able to let go of all that negative energy because honestly, we need that energy to heal. And I've done several episodes on letting go, how to let go very strategically so that we can really use that energy to heal our mind, body, and spirit. But again, this is a list of 6 traits. And I've done a lot of these in different episodes, so you can go back and really use this podcast to help you achieve these different traits. But can you forgive in your own heart, even if you can't forgive verbally to the other person? Or it would be dangerous for you to forgive that other person personally or to have contact with them. Can you forgive them in your heart so that you don't carry it with you? That is a biggie. Another trait is that optimists feel connected to the world. They feel connected to a social group or their family. You don't have to feel connected to everything. And it's not a quantity game. It's really, do you have pure human connection? And can you nurture those connections? Do you have the ability to nurture and maintain any of these relationships? And it says that this really serves you. So Optimists practice acts of kindness, and that seems to increase personal self satisfaction and joy tenfold beyond even the person that they're doing this for. Are you practicing acts of kindness? Can you write down 3 acts of kindness that you can do? I try to do at least one a day. I really do. Can I do at least one kind thing for a stranger or for someone that's reached out to me or someone in my family every day? The studies show that optimists are very connected to the world around them. Not only the universal world, but their community, their family, friends. And you don't have to be connected in all ways. And it's not a quantities game. This is really about nurturing and maintaining the relationships that you value. So again, you don't need to do this all night and all day long. It's just to the people that are meaningful in your life. And they also say that if you engage in acts of kindness, that doing a kind deed fills you tenfold. So yes, you're doing something nice for another person, but it reverberates through your being and it seems to help maintain your optimism. So what can you do for another person? You can make a list of the people you love and what needs they may have. And in another episode, I actually say do this for yourself. Create a list of things that you need or want to have happen. And then see who in your universe you can assign these different things to. Well, this works in the reverse too. You can reach out and ask people for something they need or just perceive it and then do that act of kindness. So there is great humor about this, as I said. And Louis C.K. has a joke where he says, an optimist is someone who goes, hey, maybe something nice will happen. A pessimist says, optimists are stupid. Sometimes it's so funny to poke fun at myself. And then there was this cartoon where a man was eating a slice of pizza and he goes, hey, there are ants on my slice. And he's very distressed. And then somebody next to him is eating the same pizza. And that person goes, free toppings. I wouldn't go that far. I'm an optimist, but that is gross. I would hand back the pizza with the ants. I would not say free toppings, but I just thought it was funny. And then, there's that classic riff on glass half full, glass half empty. There are so many spins on that, and they're in t-shirts. They're very funny. So the one I liked was optimist, glass half full, and then pessimist, and they show glass half empty. And then it says opportunist, I drank it. And you know how obsessed I am with hydration and water. So I love that one because I would be talking about drinking it. And I gave that example before that I was asked that question. And I explained this in a different episode that I didn't answer when they said, so do you see the glass half full or half empty? I said, mine overfloweth, which is a quote from a psalm. And that is my cup overfloweth. And I do believe that. So I do see the abundance and I do see how precious each moment is. And that heightened when I was told to get my affairs in order. I became even a bigger student of the present, of gratitude, because when they told me to get my affairs in order, that I had a very little life expectancy, not only did I have to figure out how to beat stage 4 cancer when nothing worked, I had to also figure out how to keep my mind so positive and not squander seconds, minutes, days, weeks, months living in the negative, So I would love to know how this works for you. If you go to comedycures.org, you can read more about the cancer mindset pilot study that I did, where we taught advanced cancer patients for 8 weeks this mindset. And it's way more beyond optimism. But I felt when I saw that sweatshirt, and I'm so proud to wear that eternal optimist, I just felt like we had to do this episode. Now, if you go to comedycures.org, I would love for you to go to the podcast section and record a message to me or the contact menu and just write to me and tell me what are the practices that you're doing to reinforce your optimism. And if you're struggling with it and you feel that you're living more in a pessimistic state, let me know that too and tell me where the pain points are and which of these strategies might be helping and which aren't. We really learn from all of this dialogue and communication. I know it's a podcast, but I really think of it like a dialogue. So I hope you have a very optimistic moment, and then I'll wish you an optimistic hour, and then an optimistic day, and then an optimistic week and month and year. And that if you feel yourself slipping into pessimism, it happens. There's an episode where I teach a strategy called not this, not this, to interrupt that thought pattern. And you know what? It takes time to build habits. And if you heard the habit episode, BJ Fogg out of Stanford says the quickest way to change a habit is to self-cheer. So cheer yourself for trying. Cheer yourself when you do have these optimistic moments, and cheer yourself when you're in a pessimistic moment to transforming that through one of the acts or one of the traits that we just discussed today. Oh, I can't wait to hear about this. Have a blessed day, and I'll see you tomorrow. If you loved today's episode, then tell the world. Why? Because Beating Cancer Daily and our membership circle are both a listener and donor supported experience. So the more people you tell and the more people that join us, the more robust and interesting programs our nonprofit, the Comedy Cures Foundation, can bring to you throughout the year. I really want you to go to comedycures.org. And of course, I always want you to make a donation. It's tax deductible to the extent allowed by law. But what's super exciting is not only can you laugh and explore the comedy there, but you can look at our membership levels and find the one that's great for you. And if you're feeling a little bit generous, gift one to a chemo brother or sister, or to a caregiver that you just want to help them improve the quality of their day. Thanks so much. See you tomorrow. Guess what time it is? It's time for me to read the disclaimer. Beating Cancer Daily and the membership circle are not in lieu of medical advice or treatment. They are for entertainment purposes only. Please consult your healthcare team to review your best strategy. Thanks for listening. See you guys tomorrow.